When I was 10 years old, my aunt gave me an old hand-carved dollhouse she found in an antique shop in Salem. It was a birthday gift, a beautiful, eerie structure with tiny rooms, faded wallpaper, and even little lights that flickered when plugged in. It was too detailed to be a toy, almost like someone once lived in it. At first, I adored it. I'd rearrange the furniture, move the tiny porcelain dolls from room to room, and pretend they were a family. But within a week, I noticed things were off. I'd wake up to find the dolls had moved on their own. The mother doll would be standing in the hallway instead of the kitchen. The child doll, once tucked in bed, now stood staring out the attic window. I thought maybe I was just forgetting where I left them. Then came the night I heard it. A soft, faint knocking. Tap, tap, tap. I turned over in bed, heart racing, and realized it was coming from the dollhouse. I got up, stared at it in the moonlight, and watched, in utter disbelief, as the attic light flickered on by itself. No one was near the plug. No one was touching it. I backed away slowly and tried to sleep, convincing myself it was faulty wiring or my imagination. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. The next morning, I noticed something that made my skin crawl. There was a new doll inside the house, one I'd never seen before. It was dressed in black, wore a small, cracked porcelain mask, and stood at the foot of the miniature staircase facing the other dolls. I asked my mom if she had added a new piece, maybe found it online. She said no. She didn't even like the dollhouse, thought it was too creepy for a child. That night, I dreamed of the house. I was inside it, but not as myself. I was the masked doll. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. I stood watching, as the other dolls scurried about the tiny home acting out scenes of fear, hiding, running, crying. Then a loud creak echoed through the attic, and the door burst open. Something entered the room, something dark. I woke up gasping for air. The next day I noticed my real bedroom door had been opened during the night. I always locked it, and worse, the masked doll had moved again. Now it stood in front of the dollhouse door as if guarding it, its head slightly tilted, watching me. My mom agreed to move it to the attic. I was relieved, for a day, because that night the attic door slammed shut on its own. We heard it from downstairs. When my dad checked, he found the dollhouse upside down in the corner of the attic. The dolls arranged in a circle on the floor. Every single one was missing its head, except for the masked doll. It sat in the center. We tried to throw it away. My dad tossed the entire dollhouse into a fire pit in the backyard. We watched it burn, the porcelain cracking, the wood collapsing into flames. But the next morning it was back, not in my room, not in the attic, in the hallway, perfectly intact. Not a single scratch. That same day, my aunt called us in tears. She'd gone back to the antique store to ask about the dollhouse. The owner told her it was never meant to be sold. It belonged to a little girl who died in that very house over 100 years ago, along with her entire family. Mysterious deaths. No explanation. The dollhouse was a replica of their real home, and it was said the spirit of the girl, and others, still lived inside it, playing endlessly, trapped, angry at being disturbed. We moved a month later, far away, but sometimes I still see it, in the corner of my dreams, in the reflection of windows, the dollhouse, waiting, and the masked doll, still watching.